and some other stuff like that, but there's just so many decks in the donation queue, and I just wanna get through them rather than not. And if people would rather watch other things live, we can they can just catch the replays on YouTube. You can see everything that everyone's donated for in the donation queue, ! Donation queue in chat. There's the top 4 of the event mono degeneracy. Jund lost to Infect. That's obnoxious. Alright. So this hand doesn't really do anything, but I mean, we're not playing this deck to not suspend Ancestral Vision on one, right? So we're gonna do this. Surgicals in the board. We do in fact have surgicals at the board. You're not incorrect. I am gonna make it so there is another idcom. Just gonna make it so it works for both of those. Oh, good. We won the die roll too. Sweet. Hand could be literally anything. All right, you can DM it to me. I don't know if we're gonna get to it tonight. We'll see. I think I want to do these 3 decks that I have pulled up tonight. Oh no! Oh no! What's going on, Mark? Turn 1 Goblin Guide. A second how could we lose? We suspended Ancestral Visions on 1 and 2. We could never lose this game, right, chat? Right? How will they ever beat our card advantage? So Burn's one of those decks that I've always been like, this is one of the decks that's just like very reasonable and modern. It's like one of those powerful, proactive things, just like good modern decks are powerful and proactive. But this deck actually had a really poor performance on day 2 at the Open this weekend. There were 6 copies of this deck in day 2, and only 1 of them converted into a top 32 finish. Hey, Lilibad, with that brand new tier 1 support. Thank you very much and welcome. As always, subscriptions are the best way you can support what I do here, so I really appreciate that. God, I don't understand how they're going to beat all this card advantage we've amassed. We've amassed so much card advantage. How could they ever keep up? These Goblin Guides have drawn us so many cards. We're going to draw all these cards off Ancestral Visions. All right. We're gonna try. If we don't opt into a Terminus on their turn, we're gonna concede. I think this matchup's probably pretty bad for us. I've got like 3 Leylines in my board and Negate. Should you have fetched the planes in case you revealed Terminus? I actually didn't have a planes in my deck. Shannon! With the 16-month 3 subscription. Thanks a lot and welcome back. This is your miracles list. Thank you for the continued support. I really appreciate it. So let these try and clear any lands that might be on top of our deck. Oh, hey, ho, let's go. And this will be a good example of how bad this matchup is. We're gonna hit the Terminus here. We're probably still gonna die in a blaze. There should probably be a second planes in the deck. I added Gideon of the Trials, and I forgot to put a second planes in the deck. So the mana base is not ideal. Our mana base is definitely not ideal. There should be a second planes in my deck for this Storko. Wall of Omens. Gosh, how can they ever keep up with us? How could you ever possibly win, opponent? I've generated so much card advantage. We're just super dead. Decks like this just don't usually beat burn. Yeah, I'm gonna cut these and bring in these four, I suppose. We got this negate as well. I'm probably supposed to bring in Vendilion Clique just because it's a beater and we do need to actually kill our opponent. Probably supposed to leave Terminus in our deck. It's probably better than Path to Exile in a lot of ways. Trim a Jace, maybe? Nah, Jace is good at fate sealing them out. We're gonna give it the old college best here. Not having a second Plains is not gonna do us any favors. No, Verdict's much too slow. Much too slow. I'm just gonna trim some Path. So one of the problem with Path in a matchup like this is the games where you path the burn player twice, they generally have enough mana that you aren't going to be able to beat them, because like they're going to be able to sequence around all your stuff. I'm going to opt to go to 5 here. I think this hand is okay, but we have ley lines in our deck and we have hands that are just better. Let's just roll on to the next one. Let's try and find a Jund or some kind of interactive mid-range deck. I'm sure we're just gonna go like burn into Tron into ad nauseum and just be like really sad, but you know, we're gonna do our best. What's going on, Josh? Howdy. Yeah, life's swell. Had a great weekend. Took last night off, played a bunch of board games with some friends. We played this really sweet game called Dice Throne that one of Christy's coworkers brought over. It was quite fantastic. Gosh. Please be something where this Ancestral Visions is great. Please be something where this Ancestral Visions is great. Hey! Kunspur Pack? I'm not sure how to pronounce that username. At any rate, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime subscription as always. Subscriptions are the best way you could support what I do here, so I do appreciate that. Yeah, my wife backs a lot of Kickstarter stuff, but she didn't actually back that one, but I think we might try and get in on. I'm not actually sure how the details on Kickstarter work because I haven't done it a ton, but we might try and get in on that one. They brought the base game over and it was a lot of fun. The free-for-all rules were kind of silly, how the targeting works, but we played basically a two-headed giant variant and it was very enjoyable. I think I'm gonna bottom field and top this Jace. Fetch Watery Grave tapped probably means something more controlling. Opponents also O2 according to MTG bot, so they're probably a control deck. Oh, something aggressive. Okay, interesting. So let's actually just snap Serum Visions here. The odds of hitting exactly Path to Exile are pretty low, and this puts a blocker into play to get in the way of Young Pyromancer. Perfect. Terminus is fantastic. I probably want the Wall of Omens to follow it up as well. So next turn, we get to Miracle Terminus, and then Serum Visions into Wall of Omens, and then play Wall of Omens, which is quite fantastic for us. The fact that Terminus generates so much tempo in a deck like this is so fantastic. Like, sweeper effects are phenomenal, but the fact that it doesn't require us to tap out on 4 for our sweeper effect is really huge. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you've been enjoying the YouTube content. Is it better than you white control or you white miracles? I don't know. So that's the people always want the fast and loose. I want you to tell me that something is better or worse than other things. And in Modern, in a format like Modern where there's so many different things going on, better and worse isn't usually a good comparison. A lot of the time in formats like Modern, things are just close or similar in power level and are doing slightly different things that give you slightly different percentages in different matchups. That's essentially what it comes down to. So I definitely haven't played enough with this deck and blue-white control in general to tell you one is better or worse than the other. There might be one that's just better or worse, but my gut says they're probably just like slightly different percentages in different places. Like places where they can counter your Terminus, Supreme Verdict's probably going to be better, right? But like places where mana efficiency is more important than uncounterability, Terminus is probably fantastic. I think I like the opt. I probably should have kept the land too, but I think I definitely like keeping the opt here. Yeah, use your words too. I'd bottom the opt because... Although I guess I'm hitting this, so like I'm pretty likely to hit a land here. Famous last words. Ew. Ew. I'm gonna throw this over there. I think I'm just passing here, right? We can mana leak something. We can opt. I guess I can Serum Visions digging for Terminus. I don't think we want to cast Jace this turn. Like, our opponent's obviously playing a tokens deck, so I probably want to, like, clear the board and run them out of resources a little bit before I stick a Jace. Like, it's very... I'm pretty unlikely to want to draw a Jace this turn, or play a Jace this turn, actually, just based on the information that we had. Now Jace is going to be valuable. I think I'm going to go top here and leave myself the option to fetch away that mana leak. So what we can set up on this next turn cycle is we can Jace brainstorm the Terminus to the top and then opt into the Terminus on our opponent's turn to clear the board when they try and pressure our Jace. That does leave our Jace a little bit vulnerable to Lightning Bolt, but I think that's fine. We like get to draw a card out of it and set up a good way to clean their board. They don't play anything this turn. Yeah, maybe we just don't care. I'm just gonna start my turn. Yeah, I'm just gonna start my turn. We'll draw a land here. So do I want to stick the Jace at this point? I kind of feel like I don't. I kind of feel like I want them to commit more to the board before I like diddle around and set up this Terminus, right? I probably don't want to draw this mana leak on top of my deck, so I'm probably gonna fetch next turn. I think I'd rather push for more mana. Maybe I'm supposed to crack this fetch and then snap. Yeah, I'm actually gonna crack this fetch and get just a basic plains here, I think, just in case they're a 4-color Blood Moon deck, because Magic Online Modern. I'm just gonna snap a Serum Visions here. No, I think Jace Fate Seal is bad because of cards like Dreadbore. It's also bad because they just have 2 spirits in play, so like I just lose my Jace to a Bolt if I Fate Seal them. So like that's not particularly appealing either. Okay, sweet. So we're gonna get to set up a couple of things here with Jace, which is great. So I'm probably just in the market to top these, right? And just like, we'll draw a land next turn. So we'll probably set up the Jace next turn and then like go Terminus into Entreat. That's really annoying. That is exceptionally annoying. Maybe I should have left up Cryptic Command. I guess discard spells make sense. I've not, Bach. Anything that I've tried you can find on my YouTube channel. Yeah, so we're gonna lose our Jace here. That's kind of a beating. I can just cast this Terminus for 6, and we have a couple more Jaces in our deck. We do just have a couple more Jaces in my deck. I feel bad that I left 2 lands on top of my deck now, though. I guess I could opt one of them away. Yeah, we have an AV on Suspend as well, so if we just like try not to get burned out, we're gonna be okay here. And like this is just castable for 6 as well, which is fine. I will play Jace Kiki. I pretty much just play what people send us money to play, and people haven't wanted to see Jace Kiki, so we haven't been playing it. Woo! ESC Sayer with that brand new big sub, tier 3 subscription. Thank you very much and welcome. I do appreciate that. As always, subscriptions are one of the best ways you can support what I do here. Be sure to message me in private on Twitch, Twitter, or Discord to set up what you would like your donation deck list for the month to be. Thank you for that very generous subscription. I don't want to set up Angels yet because I kind of want to Terminus the board before I commit this. Also, like, I'd like to miracle this, right? Like, I have 2 more Jaces in my deck. Mike the Knight! It's hard to believe it's been half a year. Love what you do. Thank you for half a year of support, Mike. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Welcome to everyone hanging out, having a fun Sunday. Have we decided what cards should be unbanned in Modern? Stoneforge Mystic, Pod, just like, there are lots of things that could come off the list, I think. All right, so I think I'm actually going to opt here and just bottom this land that I know is on top of my deck, and we'll draw this fetch land. Just want to like get a fresh hit this turn. I might just pay, am I just paying 6 for this Terminus? I think I'm just paying 6 for this Terminus here. Yeah, I think I'm just doing that. Let's clean things up. Putting that wall and those Snapcasters back into our deck, so we'll get to draw them again later. No, I don't want to attack Rogue. I'd rather have the Snapcaster Mage be in my deck. Like, they know the Terminus is there, so they're pretty likely to block. And I'd rather have the Snap back in my deck to draw it again later. So, Animated Mellow with the 8-month resubscription. Thanks a lot and welcome back. 2/3 of a year. I appreciate the continued support. Oboro is a land that you can return to your hand to brainstorm back into your deck. With Jace the Mind Sculptor. With this guy. This guy right here. Woo! Shaz Doom up and with the big sub. Thank you, and welcome. I appreciate that. Same as the last mention, make sure you message me. We were messaging earlier about a deck list, so if you wanna set something up like that, be happy to continue the conversation we were having. I wonder if I'm supposed to fetch first here. Man, that's pretty good. All right, yeah, so I'm just gonna go back here and then play the Field of Ruin. Yeah, I think I messed up here. I think because I had this Entreat in my hand, I was pretty unlikely to want to shuffle. So I probably should have fetched an island before using Jace's Brainstorm effect. And the reason for that is exactly what Rogue just said. This way it would allow me to hold up Cryptic Command without having to shuffle away the miracles that I'm putting into play. So I think because I knew I was guaranteed to have at least one thing I wanted to put back on top of my deck, I should have waited. I should have fetched first and then used the Jace. You can find all of the deck lists in the donation queue, ! Donation queue in chat. Deal. 4 mana, gain 3, opponent discards a card, brainstorm. Shaz Doom with the big donation. Thank you, bud. Is this for the 5-color deck? As promised. Well, thank you very much, and I will get that set up, and we'll probably do that tomorrow morning. I won't be able to. I don't like building deck lists on stream, so I will get a 5-color Pyromancer deck list put together, and we will play it tomorrow morning. Thank you. Add it to the queue now so I don't forget. Alright, so we're gonna hit for 2 here. Hopefully they flash back a Lingering Souls here. Oh, they're a Bedlam Reveler deck. That makes sense. Okay, so they're like some kind of 4-color, like base Grixis, Splash Souls, Bedlam Reveler deck. That makes sense. We do have to be a little bit careful because we're definitely getting to a point where we could be in danger of getting burned out. So this is coming off. Oh, geez. When is this? This is coming off this turn, actually. Okay. So this is going to happen. I need to see what the question mark is, Justin. You gotta link me. You gotta link me. Probably, but I need to know that it's not gonna be something terrible. So we traded that for like half a souls. I think that's fine for us. Should we get aggressive with these Field of Runes? Wonder how many basics are in their deck. They probably have a swamp and an island, right? I'd imagine. I probably don't need to do this, so I probably just want to like Jace and set this Entreat up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I'm gonna fetch here. Do this. Do this. Do this. And like at this point, like, so I'm incentivizing my opponent to kill this with fire, but I think that's fine because I'd prefer that they kill this rather than burn me, right? Because like at this point I'm at 8. I intentionally put the Entreat the Angels 2 cards down there because I'm expecting to need to Cryptic Command something either right now or on my opponent's next turn. So I am expecting to need to, yeah, so this is just not something we want to happen. So counter target spell, draw a card. This way we're setting up to miracle the Entreat next turn. I think if they Thought Scour us between these Gideons, we're going to be at an okay spot. That's a weird concession. Felt like a strange concession. You should whisper me the message. You should whisper it to me, ESCE. I don't look at decklist mid-stream, but I will. The first thing I do after I finish each stream is dig through all my messages. So send it to me /W and then my name and then a link to your deck list. This is probably a Leyline of Sanctity matchup, right? I mean, like, yeah, if they didn't have a way to answer the Jace, the writing was kind of on the wall, I suppose. I wonder... This is probably a fine Leyline matchup. Blessed is probably not good here. Yeah, I think that's fair, Brian. Yeah, Red Green Eldrazi would be a fine donation list. I don't think that deck's particularly good, but I'd be willing to play it to confirm that suspicion. No, this isn't really an established archetype at this point. It's seen some fringe play since even before Jace the Mind Sculptor was introduced, but it's definitely not hyper competitive, I'm not sure. I think Gideon of the Trials is probably bad against a go-wide deck. We're playing against, like, this Grixis, Splash, Lingering Souls, Bedlam Reveler, Young Pyromancer deck. I think I want these ley lines. I want the Verdict. I want the D-Sphere. I'm not sure what exactly I want to cut. I think I like most of my cards. Mana Leak seems like it might be kind of medium. Like, I probably just want more cards that play to the board. But at the same time... like, needing to counter things like Bedlam Reveler. Maybe I just, like, play through Bedlam Reveler with, like, Terminus and AV and stuff. I could see that being the case. Right, yeah, let's do that and see how this feels. I did grab your link, Justin. We can probably lose 3 matches with that at the end tonight. Can probably lose 3 matches with that at the end tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. Hey, thanks for the bits, Mellow. Shanku. I think Wall of Omens is fine. It, like, blocks and it replaces itself. The floor on Wall of Omens is pretty high. You could maybe argue that I should mulligan this kind of weak hand because I have ley lines to mulligan too, but, like, I'm pretty hard-pressed to pass up a turn 1 Ancestral Vision. Pretty pretty hard pressed to pass up turn 1 AV. 3 X-band cards. I'm glad they played this on 2. Got to get my AV down. They took my opt away. Okay, interesting. Excellent. I think I'm actually going to hold the opt for now. Since we already have a 3rd land guaranteed, I think I'd rather be able to hit a Terminus with it on their turn, potentially. If it looks like we're going to be in danger of missing a land drop, I'll play an opt-out, but I think... so, like, this turn I'm going to play one of these, right? To try and find our 4th land. What's going on, Ustiz? Welcome. Cascade Bluffs. Is there a Kiki combo in their deck? This is a strange card to see in their deck. Maybe, are they playing Cryptic Command, perhaps? Are you playing Cryptic Command, maybe? I don't know how I feel about this. Thought sees me. Yeah, that's fine. That's a good question. It's a good question. They had at least 2 mountains last game. They had at least 2 mountains last game. My AV's coming off this turn, right? Yeah, so I'm going to hold the opt again because it's good for hitting Terminus on their turn. All right. All right. I mean, this is clearly why Ancestral Vision was banned for as long as it was, right? It's just far too powerful. But it just has to concede the game when it resolves. Well, welcome. Hope everyone's having a great Sunday. Hanging out, playing some Magic the Gathering this evening. We're going to be playing Modern all night tonight. How did I feel yesterday? How did I feel yesterday about what? I mean, we're not, but God, can we just like always suspend AV on one? Please be something fair. Please be something fair and mid-rangey. Hey, Ustis, with that brand new tier 1 subscription. Thank you very much and welcome. I appreciate that. As always, subscriptions are the best way you could support what I do here. So the blue-white list that top-8'd the Open this weekend actually had 2 copies of Wall of Omens in it. And I think Wall of Omens is quite excellent right now. It's very good at protecting your Jace the Mind Sculptor against more aggressive decks. When I think of the 4-color Pyromancer list floating around, I think it would be a hard sell to convince me that the power level you gain from adding Bloodbraid Elf to the Mardu Pyromancer shell is worth losing the power of having access to the card Blood Moon. Blood Moon is very good. Awesome. Well, we're going to be having more and more live streams. We're doing this full time now, so we're going to be filling out the schedule with 30 to 40 hours a week as the goal. Oh no. Oh no. Can we ever beat Blue-Black Mill, chat? Is this beatable? Can we beat Blue-Black Mill? I don't know if we can. I don't know that Blue-Black Mill is beatable. Esper Mill probably just as unbeatable. I think with Dredge in the format, I don't want to ever play against Cabal Therapy in Modern. I also don't want to experience the amount of ghosting online that Cabal Therapy incentivizes people to do. And this is why playing control decks is tough, right? So like this control deck that I'm playing, I've made sideboard concessions to, you know, not be able to have a hard matchup against Burn. So we played Burn and we lost. And now we're playing against this Mill deck where, like, our cards don't line up well against Mill. So we're probably gonna die. I guess I have these 3 copies of Leyline of Sanctity in my sideboard, and we're gonna mulligan very aggressively for them in the post-board games. They are pathing their Hedron Crab. Alright. I'm doing this now before they have a chance to draw more cards, just in case they don't have Archive Trap yet. And this is why, in general, in formats that are as diverse as a format like Modern, generally speaking, you want to be playing proactive strategies. Which, in general, honestly, is just why Bloodbraid Elf has slotted into seemingly more successful decks than Jace the Mind Sculptor has so far. Because Bloodbraid Elf is a card that lends itself towards being proactive, whereas Jace the Mind Sculptor is not a card that lends itself towards being proactive. It encourages you to dirtle and do a whole lot of nothing. Alright, we're going to bring in this Detention Sphere, just because sometimes they have, like, what's that stupid, the orb thing, the Mesmeric Orb? Now, we've got these Leyline of Sanctities, and I believe. We've got Vendilion Cliques and Gideon of the Trials. I don't think Disdainful Stroke is good enough. We should just board up to 75. Oh, Gids is pretty good. Gids is pretty good. That's true. The Gideon emblem is like A+, right? Well, we technically don't have to attack them to win, right? We can Jace-ult them. What's going on, Zara? Howdy, howdy. Good evening. Pod Twin Stoneforge Mystic sounds great. I mean, we didn't board in ley lines and turn 1 Ancestral. I might keep this hand with no lands if we're being honest, but if this hand runs a couple of lands off, it's very good, right? So you're saying there's a chance. Democracy. There's so many cards that are not good in our sideboard. I guess Path to Exile is not completely dead. Maybe we should have this in, or Terminus, because they have crabs and stuff. Ten out of 10 would keep again. Yeah. Yeah, give it to me, baby. Ain't nobody got time for second lands. The Summoner's Egg. That was such a quality meme. I wonder if they have ways to deal with Leyline. Maybe they have Cryptic Command. It's a pretty uncommon card for them to have, right? Well, the bad news is we're gonna have to discard a bunch next turn, chat. That's the bad news. That is the bad news. Esper Charm, okay. I'm trying to think. We've been paid to play Blue-Black Mill a couple of times. I'm trying to think if we ever had ways to take Leyline off the board. I was very surprised Summoner's Egg wasn't. We all were. Let's be honest. We were all impressed that it worked out. Who's the good guy between the difficult questions Modern requires you to ask yourself? Who's the good guy between Ponza and Storm? It's like, I think I'm discarding some mana leaks here. I think it's like leak. I could have played the Fortress to like get to cast a leak here if they played something during my end step, but I think they're unlikely to cast anything. I think it's like leak. Maybe Snapcaster Mage. I probably want the clock, right? It's like leak Cryptic Command. Should have held up mana leak. Mistakes were made. We're done. All right, let's. We have one Detention Sphere in our 75. All right. 2 mid-range or control decks to keep the dream alive, please. 2 mid-range or control decks. So this is the style of deck that, unless you really like blue-white control, I probably wouldn't play any variation of blue-white control in a generic like open or Grand Prix style modern field. If you hit the right matchups, you can definitely run fine, but I think decks like this, you just don't have enough sideboard slots that you're gonna have to make enough concessions to various matchups that you're gonna have a bad time in enough matchups that it's not gonna feel great. Maybe that like assumes they have no fatal pushes and assumes they have no nothing. It assumes they have a whole lot of nothing. At least we're good at having Ancestral Vision in our opener. At least we are good at having Ancestral Vision in our opener. Okay, but like Dimir Spy, what cards would you replace 4 of those with to suddenly make these matches like cut 4 of those cards? Like, how does Burn or Mill suddenly become winnable? Like, I'm pretty sure the answer to that question is no. This is probably less bad for us than a lot of the others, especially since we have a bunch of Field of Runes in our deck. Azuri's Charm isn't particularly good against Mill or Burn. I think that card's just really clunky in general. Alright, so they picked up a tower there, so maybe they're not gonna have Natural Tron. Maybe they won't have Natural Tron, chat. Boy can dream, right? Yay! Alright, am I holding this for now? I think I'm holding this for now. Yeah, technically I probably should have done this during their draw step. In case they draw their only basic. Sweet. Sweet. Who's ready to start Fate Sealing, chat? Who's ready to start Fate Sealing? Yeah, I think this type of deck, it can be good against a very specific format, but I think the generic, like, how do I put on the bottom? Yes. Put bottom Demonic Tutor. Go. Bottom your Demonic Tutor. Is this coming off yet? It's this third, right? Yep. Comes off on 5. Ding. Why are we not playing Summoners? Yeah, hopefully we get to Jace ult. That's the goal here, right? Oblivion Stone. I'm probably required to bottom that, right? I just, like, can't let them kill my Jace. Cryptic Command is excellent. This probably isn't a Gideon of the Trials matchup, right? Or at least at this point, it's not a Gideon of the Trials matchup. I think I'm just going to bin this Wall of Omens here. Correct. That's why the Jace ticking up here, allowing us to hopefully race them, is the most important thing here. Yeah, this Mind Sculptor needs to win the game. If this Mind Sculptor can't win the game, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Oblivion Stone. Put that on the bottom. I'm going to say no, leave it on top, because I think they're going to crack this map anyways. Really? Okay. Interesting. I have the Cryptic Command to cover the Oblivion Stone either way. Jace on turn 4 is bad against Tron's good draws. Our opponent's draw was very, very bad this game. Very, very bad. Alright, so you're saying there's a chance. That's all I need, chat. All I need is a chance. All I need is a chance. Beep, 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 beep. Is getting into the trials good here? Is getting into the trials good here? Yes, no, maybe. I think it's not. I think I'd rather just win with Jace and Entreat and possibly click and snap. Maybe Gideon is fine, so it can like fog a Worm Coil for a little while. Yeah, field plus surgical is a plan. Field plus surgical is a plan. I think that's a very real plan, and it is fine. Is Gideon better than Path? Gideon is another clock. All right, I'm gonna leave. I think I need 2 paths in my deck at least, because like I need to be able to answer Worm Coil engines. But I do like the idea that this is a clock. Gideon's better than Path against Thragtusk. That's true. Okay, I'm gonna split these two too. This is probably just too much of a liability against their removal and stuff. Like we have leaks and strokes and stuff, and like if we draw too many paths, we're definitely gonna have a bad time. It's pretty hard to pass this hand up. We've got a Field of Ruin in the opener. We've got some cantrips to help us dig to some lands. Hopefully, we've got some good counter magic. So like even if they have a good draw here, they get to go like natural Tron. We stroke their turn 3 play, and then we like untap and field them, and hopefully take them off of Tron. Would be ideal. AV. That okay. That was like actually better than AV. That's like the card we were looking to make this hand, right? So we're gonna be visioning and then bottoming aggressively to try and hit land drops. Sure. Yeah, that's excellent, right? I'd kind of like to just like hit all of these. Yeah, I think so. I think I'd like to just hit my first 5 land drops this game. Oh, Relic can counter the surgical. That's true. Depending on their sequencing with the Relic, they could counter the surgical with it. That's true. That's gonna be something to be aware of. Expedition map, sure. And they're not threatening Tron next turn even, right? So I can just go like Serum Visions into tapped land this turn. I'm gonna go bottom here at this point because I don't need more lands really. Yeah, I might be able to get them while their shields are done. I agree. What do you mean, Binky? Thoughts on what? Okay, sweet. So if they activate map during my end of turn, we get to field them plus surgical them. Oh, I guess that's not strictly true because they're gonna get a basic. So they led on the power plant, so I'm gonna kill the mine here. Yeah, so I can't surgical the mine here because my opponent can activate the relic in response. So what we need to have happen here is we need them to activate this plus tap out. Am I gonna cryptic bounce this and then surgical them in response? What do we think about that? Is that insane? Like, I lose the surgical, but I get to take them off of Tron? So I'm gonna let them search here because I'll get the mine. So they'll sack this in response to surgical bouncing it. And then we'll surgically extract their mine here. Which gets a card out of their hand too. Their hand right now is Worm Coil, Mine, and then some cards we don't know. I say, if we're really lucky, they'll overthink this and not pull the trigger on it in response. So like, oh, maybe he really wants his graveyard for something, so I'm gonna like just let this come back to my hand and replay it. Yeah, perfect. They overthought it, so we even got to draw our cards still. Yeah, Oboro is a small choke hedge, but you could also bounce it with Jace's Brainstorm ability. Got him! Sweet! Alright, so we pulled a fast one there. Pulled a fast one. Yeah, you're right. I should technically draw step the surgical. Should technically draw step the surgical in case they draw another one. I had it in my head that they were gonna pull the trigger on the thing, but once they messed up, I was supposed to wait till their draw step. Alright, come on. Something mid-rangey so we can 3-2. Something mid-rangey so we can 3-2. Scene doesn't have AV on one, but it's got Mana Leak on two. I mean, again, Mephisto, if you watch this stream, like, you're familiar with the fact that, like, conceding for life EV is a thing. They're not 0% to win that game, but they're definitely not a favorite to win that game. So, like, this isn't a tournament where you have to wait 50 minutes to play your next match when you lose. If you concede a match that you're almost guaranteed to lose, you can just start playing another one right away. We have 4 Terminus in our deck. We're not dead to rights here. We're not dead to rights. Their start's kind of bad here if they don't have a Hallowed one. Never mind on my Mana Leak. If they just hit us for 6 here, we're actually in a pretty good spot with this Blessed Alliance pickup. Sweet. Alright, yep. Yeah, I'm just gonna kill this next turn as opposed to suspending this right away. I think it's better to just get this down. I disagree. I think without Tron lands in your deck ever, you're not that much ahead against the blue-white deck. He didn't beat Trod, Surgical did, right? Am I even supposed to hit this here? It's like a Burning Inquiry. Alright. Holy shit, chat! Oh god, can we keep it? Can we keep it? Oh jeez! Oh yeah! See? Alright, we gotta not discard it. We gotta not discard it. We gotta not discard it, chat. Come on. Come on. I believe. No. Wait, is this? It is. We kept the Miracled one. We kept the We discarded 2 copies of Terminus, and we kept the fucking Miracled one in our hand. Woo! Lucky. Nice RNG deck, opponent. Spins the wheel, eh? Live by the sword, die by the sword. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Ooh, we had a sub in there. Mo Pros with that Twitch Prime support. Thank you very much and welcome. I do appreciate that. As always, subscriptions are the best way you can support what I do here, so I do appreciate that. All right, well that was excellent. Oh no, not all these Flame Blade triggers. Am I supposed to opt here? I like most of my Terminuses are gone, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and opt here. Just like get through my deck. That's funny. It's actually a fine draw, right? Because like we have Jace to set it up with, for later. A miracle so good, even Lisette would be jealous. Yep, alright. Loot away, opponent. How does that interaction work in paper? You reveal it and then you roll dice. And you roll dice. You leave it face up while you're rolling dice. So... do I just like play Jace and Fate Seal them? I think I just like play Jace and Fate Seal them, right? Like they have a whole lot of nothing going on here. They have a Flame Wake in their bin, but like I could probably keep them off of being able to play it. Second Bloodghast. Nah, I'm okay with that, right? That's fine, because I'm going to Terminus them here at some point soon. Oh, they had a looting in their bin. That makes sense. Attacking my Jace. Yep. Oboro. I think I actually just want to like keep Fate Sealing and then probably just like hard cast this Terminus from my hand next turn, right? I think I'm just gonna hard cast Terminus from my hand here. I'm just gonna top anything there because they have a fetch land. Just like top anything, you have a fetch land. All right. So Jace is gonna go to 1 here. Hopefully they play like a Hallowed one or a Gurmag here or something that we can get rid of with the Terminus. Hey, Johnny K, $12.99 with that brand new tier 1 subscription. Thank you very much and welcome. I do appreciate that. As always, subscriptions are the best way you can support what I do here. Perfect. That's a fantastic draw for us. Visions isn't coming off till next turn. Perfect. So never forget this card actually has a casting cost. Opponent's had enough. All right, so I wish I had a Disenchant in my sideboard still, but we're bringing in Celestial Purge because they're likely going to Blood Moon us. This is an AV out matchup. Gideon of the Trials is pretty good here. I think that's actually pretty clean. I probably want this Verdict as well, just like have as many sweepers as possible. Is Alliance good enough? Mana Leak's kind of mediocre. Maybe I'll cut that. I think I like this board plan. Yeah, they have gas that we can surgical, and they also have Flamewake Phoenix that we can surgical. Is this hand good enough? I think this is fine. The Field of Runes are a little bit awkward, but I think turn 2 Wall of Omens with a Verdict on 4 is potentially a fine keep. Also, just like, you know, with Burning Inquiry, like our opening hand could not be our opening hand very easily. Opponent kept a no-lander. Drawing a second Terminus there feels a little bit bad. Hopefully we find a Jace here at some point and get to floop these back up on top. That's so unlucky. Our opponent doesn't have any lands. We're not going to be able to Field of Rune them to fix our mana. Oh, look. Oh, look. Yeah, Bantail Drowsy's probably fine. Probably more than reasonable as a donation deck list. I need to see an exact list to confirm, but that's like a reasonable tier 2 deck. Okay, this is why they kept their hand. So I'm going to play this island out, and I'm going to Field of Rune their basic, or Field of, actually I'm just going to do this now, right? I'm going to do this during their draw step probably, because I don't want to bring their Blood Gas back just yet. So I'm going to Field of Rune their Blood Crypt here, and then probably path my Wall of Omens. And this is, again, I'm mostly doing this for fixing. Like, it kind of stresses their colors, but I think I like just need more colored mana, right? You have all these Field of Runes. And this is why Field of Runes is such a great card compared to Ghost Quarter in these control decks, is the fact that we just get to fix our mana using it. It's like a really slow Evolving Wilds that also offers some random utility. Because, like, this is obviously a matchup where we really don't want to be attacking our opponent's lands, right? But the idea that we could use it to fix our mana is stellar for us. Yeah, I'm gonna block a Hallowed one and then path them here. And then path my Wall of Omens. So that way we can cast this Supreme Verdict next turn, ideally. So for those that are newer to Magic, when you path your creature like this, it's already been declared as a blocker. So the Hallowed one here that we're blocking is not going to deal combat damage to us. It would have to have a mechanic like Trample on it in order to deal damage after it's been blocked like that. They have a Collective Brutality here. It kind of sucks, but ramping ourselves... Oh, geez, that's great for us. You think this is a concession? Oh, no. Oh, no! Don't take my Verdict away! Ding. All right, well, they took a bunch of our good cards away, but thankfully we have this Supreme Verdict. Oh, sweet. We even drew a Surgical for this this Blood Gas. I'm going to stop during their draw step. And again, we're stopping during the draw step because this gives my opponent a chance to draw Blood Gas for the turn. Blood Gas is one of their better cards against us. Alright, so they're going to get to Goblin Lore here and potentially floop a Hallowed one into play. Did they board in Blood Moon against us? It looks like they didn't. That's kind of interesting. They have one Leyline of the Veil worth noting. So hopefully they continue to be unlucky and they discard their Hallowed one here. Oh, they hit their Hallowed one, and they have a Flamewake Phoenix here too. So if they have a land drop, it doesn't look like they do. Is it nuts to just unsummon this? I'm gonna play this Field of Rune. I might purge the Flame Wake and then unsummon this with the Cryptic Command. We'll see what they play pre-combat. Yeah, so I'm going to let the Flame Wake come back just because they're probably going to be able to get it back at some point, and I have an opening to use the Celestial Purge this turn anyways. Yeah, I'm gonna unsummon plus draw. I think they usually don't have basic swamps in their mana base too, so I'm definitely just gonna field this Blood Crypt here. So they have Hallowed One, Grim Lavamancer, and then 3 cards we don't know right now, but they're discarding 2 of them. I didn't screenshot their deck. They didn't really have anything. I took note of, like, their Liliana, but they didn't really have anything super interesting, it didn't seem like. You might be able to deck them. How many? Oh, I didn't look and see if they have a basic. You're right. Yeah, they should have a swamp, right? Because they're a Blood Moon deck. You're right. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. They definitely have a swamp. I should have counted their number of basics, but it is what it is. Opponent conceded from the game. All right, well, after hitting Burn and Mill, which I think you could probably make Burn a winnable matchup for this deck if you put in a concentration of enough cards, but Mill's probably just one of those cards you're not beating, one of those decks you're not beating with this deck. One deck building mistake that is definitely true in this build that I have right now is that if you're gonna play these Gideon of the Trials in this deck, you definitely need another basic planes in your mana base. What would you add to fix the Burn matchup? I would play a bunch of Blessed Alliance, and I would probably play something in the board that could be a clock. These clicks are a good start, but I'm not sure exactly what else I would have. Maybe another Entreat. I think you'd want to get up to probably 3 copies of Blessed Alliance. You could probably play like Negates and Dispels in the board too. Like you could change these Disdainful Strokes to something else. And so like these are the choices you're making. Now I don't think Timely Reinforcements is very good against Burn, and that's because Burn largely deals a lot of damage to itself with its mana base. It's also very easy for Burn to sequence its Skullcrack effects around a 3 mana sorcery speed way to gain health. So I think Blessed Alliance is a much better card for beating Burn. Kitchen Finks is kind of hard to cast, but that's actually another reasonable one as well. You can also play cards like Spell Snare. All of Burn's best cards usually get countered by Spell Snare. So yeah, so Blessed Alliance, Kitchen Finks, Spell Snare, and I would turn these counter spells into something else. I would play like a Dispel and another Negate. Now, I think Circle of Protection Red is far too narrow. I think like cards like Alliance and Spell Snare and Kitchen Finks are cards that are like, they're not just for Burn, but they're for Burn and also have applications in other places. I'm really not a fan of Core Firewalker in decks that don't have red mana, because if you don't have red spells in your own deck, Core Firewalker is never getting you ahead. It's only blunting the blows from your opponent. So I think you'd rather have an effect like Kitchen Finks if you don't have red spells in your deck. All right, at any rate, we're going to go ahead and play this Mardu Pyromancer deck next, I think. Justin, we're going to close with your deck tonight because if I'm being honest, if you hadn't sent me a large amount of money, I would